And what's up, everybody? Okay. Hey, I don't mean to be annoying. This is Robert Ferguson. I'm your nutritionist. I'm a guy who shares because I care. And I am going to share some information with you today that I believe will be a game changer. I mean, seriously, right? So, when you look at the title of my share today, when calorie free causes fat gain and insulin resistance, what? So, as a person consuming something that has no calories in it, I thought you needed calories to gain weight. I thought calories was the root of the biggest problems. Well, you're about to be informed, and some of the information is not going to be fully welcomed. Some of it is going to be a little shocking, but you know what? At least you're informed. And I would rather be informed than not informed because there's quite a few people walking around who are not informed. So I open up the question by asking, did you know that artificial sweeteners can contribute toward you becoming insulin resistant? Well, I'm going to answer that. And I'm also going to share some really cool information with you. We got a free seminar coming up tomorrow, and we have a big virtual conference coming up at the end of the month. And if you haven't signed up, I don't know what you're waiting on because that's a game changer. Okay. Everything I'm going to share with you today is brought to you by the Detox Drop. If you want to learn more about it, in the comments or the description below, there's a link. You can get the Detox Drop. It's a great way to jumpstart your weight loss. It teaches you nutrition. You get the right supplements, and we explain everything step by step on how you can make the most of improving whatever the condition is that you want to improve. Okay. And then if you have questions about that, then reach out. And, I have a discount program available for anyone who wants to become a coach, or if you want to be coached, which is an interesting opportunity for anybody who wants to finally get there. And it's interesting because when you look at the national averages, as far as people who are able to lose weight and keep the weight off, people who are able to improve any part of their overall health and maintain their progress, this part is interesting. After 5 years, 99% of anyone who loses weight will gain that weight back. Anyone who improves their status as far as their blood pressure, their diabetes, it will go right back. Now, these people know what to do because I see it all the time. I'll have a client, I'm working with them for a while. They feel like they got it. And I'm like, okay, good luck. And I hope it works out for you. But they don't got it. 99 out of 100 people who make progress like that, it ain't going to happen. It ain't. And I'm an optimist. That's why I created a program that makes it easy for people to have a coach, makes it affordable, right? I have celebrity clients been with me for years and they ain't going nowhere. Why is that? Because they're really smart. They understand what is to be understood. When Michael Jackson, who's one of the best performers of all time, he had a voice coach and he had a dance coach. Celine Dion still has a voice coach. Whitney Houston had a voice coach the whole time. And they know how to sing. I'm telling you, one of the secret sauces, and this is what we're doing with the big insurance plans, is I'm making it very clear to them. The differentiator that's going to help people not only improve their situation, but maintain their situation is, number one, having the right program. And number two, having the built-in accountability of a coach. When you have that and that stickiness, there's nothing like it. So for those of my clients, I've had clients right now that I'm coaching that have lost over 200 pounds. They ain't gaining it back. I have a lot of clients lost over 100 pounds. They're not gaining it back. I have a whole bunch of people lost all kind of weight, improve their situation. They're going to maintain it and they're going to grow. And the one thing I know for sure is that I'm coaching them. Most of the people that I coach and they get success, they end up gaining weight back. If I check out to them, and some of you guys are hearing me right now, you've done it. You've gained probably 5 pounds, maybe 15 pounds, 30 pounds. you've gone backward, and then you get embarrassed because you don't want to reach out to me because it's like, man, I was doing so good and then I got off track. You know who you are. And that's why every once in a while I need to take a moment and just say this, because all you got to do is be humble. And if you're humble, things can work out for you in the short and in the long term. Don't get cocky. Don't think you got it and you're running with it. That's why I love watching, like, a year goes by, 2 years, 3 years. If I haven't coached someone, I notice their pictures aren't the same. And then when they post, I go, yep, she's gained her weight back. I mean, it's unfortunate, but you can use that as an opportunity to humble yourself and learn from your past. Because if you don't learn from your past, the past will repeat itself. Okay, so that's all. I'm gonna stop there because we got some good things to talk about. And tomorrow, look at the descriptions below. Tomorrow, I am going to be providing a free food as medicine online seminar. Okay, it's free because we have a big food as medicine conference coming up. And this is a seminar conference for nurses, for school teachers, for people who care, people who want to know about nutrition, people who want to be informed, people who are in a position where they influence other people. This is for you, because I know what most people don't know. This is my space. Same as if I was talking to someone who's been an expert in the areas of real estate. In this space, we know it, we understand it. And tomorrow, which is Wednesday, October 11th at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, 8:30 p.m. Eastern, free seminar, Food is Medicine. I'm actually doing one on Telegram. If you catch this early enough, look for Hammer Girl. We're going to have a Food is Medicine conversation on Telegram tonight. Now, if you would like to learn more about becoming a client, or if you want the link so that you can sign up for the big conference coming up on October 27th, 28th, email my assistant, Lori, at dietfreelife.com, or you can go to famcourse.com. Okay, FAM course. So FAM is for Food as Medicine course.com. And you can just sign up for the conference. Okay. Let's get into this. Now, I'm playing around because I'm getting ready for the big conference. So let me be the one. Okay, we're going to talk about sweeteners. And a lot of you use sweeteners all the time. Now, before I dive in, the World Health Organization, as you can see right here, they advise not to use non-sugar sweeteners. Like Equal, Splenda, Sweet and Low, right? They're totally like saying this is not a good idea, especially when it comes to weight control and overall health. And there's a whole bunch of other organizations that feel the exact same. Now, the contradiction is when you look at like the American Heart Association or the American Diabetes Association or the FDA. As you can see here, they approved these sweeteners to include stevia, monk fruit, allulose, which is the only one that I recommend at this very moment in time, allulose, ALLULOSE. And that's because all the other sweeteners, all the other non-nutritive sweeteners, stevia is included, Equal is included, Sweet One, Neotame, Sweet and Low, Splenda. We have seen that they create disruption in the gut. I'm going to share something else with you, though. Okay. And when you look at Nature, this is an article, published study, where they looked at how artificial sweeteners and the gut microbiome are not a good relationship. Now, it's not my opinion, because I used to be okay with Splenda. And as more and more studies came out, I was like, oh, that's not good, because I'd rather be informed than just be walking around thinking is healthier. Because I keep meeting all these people that say, well, Robert, I use Splenda, and I heard some good things about it. Okay. And then someone else will go, and I hear this a lot, stevia. Well, that's the healthier one. That's the healthy one to go with. I hear that from clients. And who did you hear it from? I hear it from experts, and a lot of them don't want to eat crow. They went out there and said stevia was all that, and everybody should be like using it. That's a better alternative than the other ones. And they don't want to look at the real science. The real science says, no, that's not a good idea. It's not. So I'm going to share with you, how is it that something that's calorie free can stimulate a hormonal response where you are more likely to gain body fat and develop insulin resistance. This is some serious stuff here, you guys. I mean, serious. So I want you to hear me on this, okay? There is a doctor by the name of Joseph Kraft. And Joseph Kraft, over 40 years ago, became aware of this thing called hyperinsulinemia. Hyperinsulinemia. Now, you'll learn this in the virtual course. You'll get a whole bunch of details on it. But hyperinsulinemia, if you break it down, hyper means elevated, like up. Insulin is a hormone that's secreted by our pancreas. And there's some of you are thinking that insulin is the same as sugar, and it ain't. Two different things. Insulin, one of its many jobs is to help get sugar out of the blood and into the cells, like your fat cells, your muscle cells, your liver cells. And when those cells start to become resistant, then insulin struggles to get the sugar out of the blood and into the cells. And then later, a person starts to see their sugar go up. So remember that I said later. Now, insulin is a storage hormone. And what Dr. Kraft discovered years ago after working with thousands of people, you guys. Matter of fact, I'll give you the exact. In his studies, 14,384 people he tested and looked at their glucose and realized that they weren't okay because they were experiencing hyperinsulinemia. He also looked at over 3,000 autopsies. And what they noticed, and what he noticed, and what he brought to the attention of everybody, which they didn't want to hear it, is that a lot of people with vascular disease, all of them, in his words, this is quoted, quote, all of them had hyperinsulinemia. And he concluded that any and all patients with vascular disease, heart disease, stroke, let's on and on and on, if tested properly, would fail miserably. Those are his words. He also suspected that those testing normal when it came to blood sugar level would not likely be free of vascular disease. See, what happens is by the time your glucose levels are elevated, you have had hyperinsulinemia for many years, but your doctor did not test for it. And your doctor does not test for it. And most doctors and nurses don't know what I'm sharing with you right now. I have coached many doctors and many nurses. And when I break it down and take them to school and really help them understand food is medicine and how this all ties into hyperinsulinemia, is new to them. Right? See, the thing is, we have things in place for glucose, right? And what I'm talking about is we have national standardized programs that will tell you that, okay, if your fasting glucose is 99 or lower, then you don't have any concerns. There's no pre-diabetes, you're good. They don't have this in place for fasting insulin. They're starting to, but it's taken forever. And it's all over the place because they don't quite understand the importance of knowing fasting insulin. And it's the insulin levels that are chronically elevated that are a primary cause for high blood pressure. And again, we're not looking at the cause. Primary cause for heart disease, primary cause for dementia, Alzheimer's, primary cause, of course, if you're a type 2 diabetic, that means you've already had, you have insulin resistance. And in some of Dr. Kraft's work, he was saying that when people had regular blood sugar levels, and I'm also thinking of another doctor who replicated the work that Dr. Joseph did. And what they saw was that all of these people who were not diabetic, that means their glucose levels were good. When they looked at the insulin, they had some people who were 40 times higher in insulin production than some of the other ones, 40 times. So that pancreas is working its butt off. It's working hard. It's working hard. And within a year later, that person wakes up, boom, they're type 2 diabetic. The focus has been on glucose, and it needs to be on insulin. When the CDC says that heart disease is the number one killer or the cause of death in America, North America, I disagree. It's hyperinsulinemia. Because as many of you are walking around and feeling good and life is great, what you're not aware of is you have elevated insulin. That's the cause for the problems. Some of you feel that, okay, I'm doing pretty good. My lab work looks good. Yeah, because you're not looking at the cause. Look at your last lab work and you tell me, like, did they do fasting insulin? I would be willing to bet they didn't. Now, soon, this is going to become standardized. And I hope you guys remember that I was sharing this with you, same as I was sharing this 5, 6, 7 years ago. There's a lot of people walking around and feeling they got it going on. So imagine that you're a type 2 diabetic, okay? Imagine that you're a type 2 diabetic. Do you have hyperinsulinemia? Yes, you do. Have you had it for a long time? For a very long time. And if you want to like deal with your type 2 diabetes, you must deal with your hyperinsulinemia. But you're not even thinking about that. You don't even know like what foods will cause insulin levels to be elevated higher than other foods. Because that data is not just easily available to everyone, but is 100% available to us with our diet-free life methodology. If someone's a type 2 diabetic and they're focusing everything on glucose, you are totally wrong. You are totally missing the whole point. And it's not your fault because you don't know better. You're just going by what's standardized. Your doctor don't know. So when you talk to your doctor, you can say, "Oh, I heard this guy Robert Ferguson. He was talking about, insulin, and and the doctor's like, don't worry about that." And then you'll just take what that doctor says as gold. Now, I'm not the only one out here preaching about the importance of understanding insulin resistance and encouraging people how to change it and reverse it. I'm the only one that has a methodology that is proven to actually do it. Everyone else is promoting diets. Oh, high carb, low fat. We actually have a method. Man, we're ahead of the game. So let me just get right to it. Let me share with you guys how 0-calorie foods is also contributing toward people becoming insulin resistant. 0-calorie foods, because we grew up and everybody's promoting and understanding calories in, calories out. And you know that the body responds to 100 calories of jelly beans differently than 100 calories of broccoli. But you don't really get it, because if you did, you would really be like, oh, okay, wait a minute, Robert. All right, I need to understand this even better. And this is what I want you to get. So I'm sharing. My goal is I'm sharing because I care. When you consume something that has 0 calories, but it has one of these sweeteners in it, to include stevia, your brain doesn't know about the calories. All it knows is that it's been stimulated, and there's a whole communication, a pathway of signaling that takes place where your pancreas is ready to deal with what it believes to be sugar in the blood. So it secretes insulin, but yet there's no food. It's 0 calories. So now you got insulin running around in your blood. And insulin is a storage hormone. So it starts to store. This is one of the reasons why some people end up getting fatty liver, even though they don't eat much. They're like, wait a minute, I've been cutting back. I don't even eat much. Well, because insulin is doing what it's supposed to do. And it got tricked by this 0 calorie thing, but still insulin is a hormone and it's got its job to do. The next thing that happens is that sweetener goes into your gut. And in the small intestine, up the top, you got these K cells, a dense population of K cells, where as a result of this synthetic thing that's coming through, these hormones called incretins get secreted. And those hormones through the anterior insular axis, inside of your gut, communicates to the pancreas to stimulate and release more insulin. Now you got more insulin. You see what's going on? And you got these people who are on these 0 calorie. They're thinking, hey, this diet soda, 0 calories, because you're in the calorie thing, not looking at the hormonal thing. And when you have elevated insulin, as Dr. Kraft pointed out, very clear on his work, and many have followed, that is the culprit for why so many people are falling prey to metabolic disorders. My favorite book says that my people perish for the lack of knowledge. Many of you don't have the knowledge. So perish, meaning fall short, lack, not good, poor outcome, and you're putting in the work, but you don't have the right knowledge. At the end of the day, the differentiator, and I learned this when I was working with so many different celebrities. As I would work with these celebrities, it became really clear to me that they wanted to know what I knew. Because many of them would say, man, Robert, if I just had you around all the time, I wouldn't have to think, and you would just say, no, we're not eating that, we're eating this. And I would say, well, that's not the goal. You can have what I'm talking about. It's all here for you. So, what do I recommend? My recommendation is honey. And I know some of you are like, oh man, what is he talking about? Honey, that's high in sugar. Here we go. Again, you fell prey to the misinformation out there. You know how many dietitians and nutritionists I talk to that demonize honey? They are so ignorant. And that's not being mean. They're just ignorant. They don't know any better. I mean, God made honey available to us. Yes, it's ideal to get, locally grown, organic, support the local market, but get real honey because it never spoils. And it's good for your gut. And it's good for everything. It's a sweetness that's available to us. Unbelievable. But we fell into this trap where you have all of these sweeteners. And again, you have the artificial sweeteners to the left, and then you have supplements like stevia. Still, it's doing the exact same thing. Think about what I'm saying. Insulin resistance is the culprit here. Elevated insulin, we got to get that hormone under control. because it's not just about your sugar. It's about a whole bunch of other things. And when it creates disruption, and I'm almost done, I just want to make one more point here. When it creates disruption inside of your gut microbiome, you have a breakdown inside of the gut, which we'll cover this in greater detail in the Food as Medicine conference. This thing called leaky gut happens. And when leaky gut happens, then certain chemicals, ingredients get they get through your intestinal wall and into your bloodstream. What do you think this is a major contributor toward? Inflammation. Who's dealing with inflammation? Who has inflammation? A lot of you have challenges with inflammation. That's because you have a weak microbiome. The fence that would keep things from getting into the bloodstream is weak. And we got to tighten that up. And these sweeteners, to include stevia, have demonstrated through multiple studies now that it weakens that fence, and then you experience leaky gut, and then you experience inflammation. So once you know, because I mean, look, there's a lot of people who don't have the education or the intelligence to get what those of you who are hearing me say get. And I feel for those people because they need to either get a coach or get a friend, someone who can really help them. And then you have the people who are really smart, but they're so ignorant that they get in their own way to like learn what's really true, or to go and do their own research and investigate so that they realize, wow, I've been a nurse for 25 years and I didn't know this. And it's not, and you know what? Listen, nurse, it's not your fault. Listen, doctor, it's not your fault. It wasn't part of your training as you were being indoctrinated, but it is a truth. So anyway, so calorie free, all these artificial sweeteners, and man, there's so much I could share. They are not helping you. They are not. They're hindering you from optimizing your personal health and well-being. Some of these sweeteners have a connection with cancer, and you don't want to wait until you get diagnosed with cancer to do something about this. So look, we want to be informed. That's what it comes down to. So here we are. So many of us are living with hyperinsulinemia and don't even know it because it's not part of the standard clinical measures. They're not even testing for it. And when I speak to doctors who are fully aware of this, and there's some that are out there really campaigning hard to make this to be something that's nationally standardized, not just in the States, but around the world, they're working hard. But there's a big money play on the background, right? Because we got to figure out how we're going to pay for this. How are they going to make money? There's no, insulin monitor where you can test your insulin at home. Now, there are some companies that are starting to make it pretty easy. I'm actually talking to a company right now where if they're my client, they don't have to wait until they go see their doctor. We can actually do it all through the mail. And they can actually test their fasting insulin right in the privacy of their home. And if you catch it at that level, then you don't have to worry about ever becoming a diabetic because you caught it way early. You don't have to worry about why you have high blood pressure. So anyone that you are talking to or know that has high blood pressure, trust me, when they do their fasting insulin, it's going to be elevated. And so they get medications to address the symptom of blood pressure instead of going to the cause and dealing with hyperinsulinemia. Think about what I'm saying. This is a game changer. You got people walking around with continuous glucose monitors, CGM. It's like, I got my eye on my glucose. I got my eye on my glucose. And that ain't doing nothing if you're not dealing with the insulin. If you're not addressing your insulin levels, the chronic elevation of insulin, you could be walking around and feel, I got my glucose under control. And you have been bamboozled. You have been hoodwinked. Don't be mad at me. I'm just sharing the truth. And if you take everything that I've shared and you go look into it and Google, you're going to be, oh my God, this is crazy. Yep, it is crazy. And it ain't getting better. It's getting worse because people are just so uninformed. So tomorrow, I hope you guys can come to my free online food as medicine seminar. I promise you it's going to be no more than 60 minutes long. I have a 30-minute presentation, and then I'm going to spend 30 minutes just answering questions. The chat is going to start a new chat that we have. It's going to be pretty fun. So you can like share things, post things. We have some good interaction there. It'll be fun. So if you're catching me on YouTube, LinkedIn, or wherever, there is a link available. If you're on Facebook, just click on the link. It's free to register. If you cannot make it for some reason, the replay will be made available. It will be sent out. All right. And then if you can't find it for whatever reason, you'll be able to go to dietfreelife.com, dietfreelife.com, and I'll have a link on the website for the replay. All right. Let me just give a quick shout out to Lynn Walker. What's up, Lynn? Sandy Silver's in the house, and Fran. How are you doing, Fran? Fran's good people. All right, you guys. If you came in late, I strongly recommend you go back and listen to the whole thing because we cover some good stuff, and it'll help you look at calorie-free products. All of these sweeteners, to include stevia, how they may not be helping you the way you think. The only one that continues to have positive outcomes when they've done studies on it, as far as gut health, even cholesterol, is allulose. Allulose, there was a study I was looking at where consuming allulose definitely demonstrated that it could help lower like LDLs, cholesterol, and increase HDL. Now, you don't just see it everywhere, but you can order it online. I'm sure you can find it in most health stores, but it's sweet. It works. And if you're going to bake something, then use regular sugar. Don't be concerned with calories. Don't think about calories. Instead, think more about the hormonal response to the foods that you eat. The hormonal response, not the calories, but the hormonal response. And yes, Fran, good to see you. We should talk. We should check in. Message me or something. I would love to chat with you. And Lynn, reach out to me, Lynn. Okay, you're my friend. Where you been? Okay. All right, you guys. Well, hopefully you'll be at our live online seminar tomorrow on food as medicine. It's free. Invite a friend. Share the link. Other than that, I'll see you tomorrow, or I'll catch you on the replay. And then I will definitely catch you guys, boom, 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 in the big virtual conference coming up. So I'm Robert Ferguson. Thank you. Appreciate you. Until the next one, peace out.